What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk about the top 5 short squeeze stocks that you need to add to your watch list going into this upcoming week. So I want to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, there's a lot of big data points coming out this week that could definitely continue the good momentum that has been in the market. So over the last 9 days, it has all been green. So this is, I believe, hasn't happened in like the last 20 years or something like that, this consecutive amount of green days. So a lot of people are going to be looking for just FOMO. People are thinking of euphoria, and when that does occur, people's appetite for risk is going to be increasing. Even going into this upcoming week, the fear and greed index is most likely going to tip under the neutral territory, so meaning people's appetite for risk is increasing. A lot of the stocks I'm going to be talking on, shorts are rather overextended, and they do have some pretty good pre-existing momentum. But getting right to it, stock number 5, you have Jiade Limited sitting at 75 cents. So it has been trading less than a year, so it hasn't really been doing all that well, but over the last, or I guess year to date, it is down 11.46, but over the last 5 days, it's starting to gain some abnormal volume, and it is up 41.78%. A lot of good information here that I'm not necessarily going to go over, but this is what they do, so feel free to pause it and whatever else if necessary. But 46.59% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 216,000 shares. So this is exactly what the market loves to squeeze. Heavily shorted, low float, so that's kind of a win-win. On Friday, shorts did return 31,000 shares. A lot of good data up here that I'm not necessarily going to go over. So DTC, higher number, again, the kind of the higher squeeze that could happen. That also is dependent on the average volume. So 1.25 days for that. And then short score is 76.71. So the higher the number, the higher the likelihood of a squeeze happening. So this is stock number 5. And actually, on a side note, through IBKR, it does indicate roughly around 150,000 shares available to be shorted. So sometimes whenever you see limited supply, you could see some buying coming from big players, BlackRock, Vanguard, and so forth, as they buy just to lend out. So this is stock number 5. Moving on to stock number 4, you have ticker FRGT sitting at 208. On Friday, it did go up 111%. So very impressive stuff. Over the last 1 year, though, it is down 88%. And then over the last 5 days, up 98.3%. So definitely gaining some pretty good traction for there. This is what they do. So air freight and logistics, based out of good old Texas. But 12.53% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 273,000 shares. So again, kind of meets that criteria that the market likes. Heavily shorted somewhat and low float. Cost to borrow average is 326.78%. That is an annual rate, not a daily rate. And then short score is 78.65. Through IBKR does indicate a lonely 10,000 shares is available. So definitely you could see some buying going into this upcoming week. So this is stock number 4. Moving on to stock number 3, Endra Life Sciences sitting at $6.15. Over the last 1 year, down 98.94%. So not all that great, but over the last 5 days, you get, again, a lot of abnormal volume, and it has some pretty good momentum. So it is up 67.44%, very low market cap, so 3.45 million. So take that into consideration. But this is what they do. So based out of the States, healthcare equipment, and so forth. But 12.75% of the free float is being shorted, works to be 71,000 shares overall are being shorted. So very low float for that. Cost to borrow average 311.64%. Shorts have been somewhat getting in, so it went from roughly 5.9% short interest to where it is now in the span of roughly 2 months. So shorts been fairly reactive to the stock price, so with it gaining some pretty good momentum, shorts have been doubling down. Short score is 80.72, and then through IBKR does indicate a lonely 2,000 shares. So this one will be a big focus of big players, BlackRock, Vanguard, and whatever else, as they'll buy it just to lend out, because this cost to borrow is fairly juicy, 128%. So this is stock number 3. Moving on to stock number 2, you have this Polyrizon, whatever, Limited, sitting at $1.01. Did go up 298% on Friday. It's been trading less than 1 year, and during that time frame hasn't really done all that well, so it is down 53.46% year to date. But over the last 5 days, up 215.72%. So very impressive stuff. Very low market cap, again, 4.24, so that might be something to keep in mind. Biotech, based out of Israel, but 30.7% of the free float's being shorted. Works to be 648,000 shares. Cost to borrow average is 328.24%, so very high for that. Shorts haven't really been reactive or doing all that much recently, so you can kind of see that they've been somewhat just kind of lingering, sitting around. Short score 86.87, and then through IBKR it does indicate 5,000 shares is available to be shorted. And then moving on to stock number 1, you have ticker AIRS, so AirSculpt Technology, sitting at 302. Did go up 33% on Friday. Over the last 1 year it is down 45%, but gaining some pretty good traction in the short term, up 51.76. This is what they do. So based out of good old Miami Beach, healthcare services, but 49.1% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 4.24 million shares. Cost to borrow average 10.19, and then short score 89.66. So very high for that. DTC is also at 16.57 days. So with very low volume, that 4.24 million definitely does stand out. Shorts haven't really been all too reactive recently to the stock price, really gaining some good momentum. They've been just slowly increasing for the last like 6 months or just close to a year. So it went from about a low of 15% short interest to where it is now at 49.11, and then through IBKR just indicate 3.3 million shares is available to be shorted. So most likely you won't be seeing any buying when it comes down to this stock. Other ones definitely so, and in a lot of the cases I think they're just shorts are overextended. So if you do have some pretty good momentum this week, you could see them start to mitigate some risk, cut some of their losses in some cases, and thus pushing the stock price even further. So let me know your thoughts on these top 5. Is there any other stocks that is floating your boat this upcoming week that could really move higher? Are any of them unveiling earnings? A lot of big players unveiling earnings, some heavily shorted. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Hopefully everyone is having a kick-ass weekend. One final thing, if you're looking for some good buy signals, pop over to my Patreon. I give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.